Thunder cracked overhead as rain blurred the city skyline through my windshield. I sat in my car across from the house I'd been paying the mortgage on for 8 years, watching my wife Claire through the bedroom window. Her arms were wrapped around another man, not just any man, but Ethan Morrison, the senior partner at her law firm. They were laughing, completely oblivious to the storm brewing outside, or the one about to break inside. I'd come home early from a surveillance job, hoping to surprise Claire with dinner from that Italian place she loved. Instead, I got the surprise of my life. The cologne in the air that wasn't mine. 2 wine glasses on the kitchen counter. The sound of laughter drifting down from our bedroom. Laughter that stopped dead when I pushed open the door. "Jack," Claire said, not even bothering to cover herself. Her voice was flat, matter-of-fact, like I was the mailman who'd walked in at an inconvenient time. Ethan had the decency to look embarrassed for about 3 seconds before his trademark smirk returned. "This is awkward," he said, reaching for his shirt. "Not really," I replied, my voice steadier than I felt, just clarifying. Claire sat up, her blonde hair tousled, her eyes cold as winter. "Get out of my house, Jack. I don't want you here." Her house. 8 years of marriage, and suddenly it was her house. I almost laughed. Would have, if my chest hadn't felt like someone had driven a truck through it. "All right," I said quietly, "if that's what you want." I turned to leave, then paused at the doorway. My phone was already recording. Old habits from my PI work. Sometimes you need evidence even when you don't know what for yet. "Don't forget to change the sheets," I called back. Again. I walked out into the rain, got in my car, and drove straight to Tessa's apartment. Tessa Caldwell, Claire's best friend since law school, though lately I'd wondered how much friendship was left between them. She opened the door in her pajamas, took one look at my face, and stepped aside. "Bourbon or whiskey?" she asked. "Bourbon, make it a double." Tessa poured 2 glasses and settled onto her couch beside me. Her apartment was everything Claire's wasn't. Lived in, comfortable, real. Books stacked everywhere, a half-finished crossword puzzle on the coffee table, a cat named Hemingway who immediately claimed my lap. "How long have you known?" I asked. She didn't pretend not to understand. "About Ethan?" 3 months, maybe 4. "And you didn't tell me because I hoped she'd come to her senses." Tessa swirled her bourbon, and because I suspected it went deeper than just the affair. I looked up from scratching Hemingway's ears. "What do you mean?" "They've been plotting to push you out of more than just your marriage, Jack. Your business, too. I've heard them talking at the office. Claire's been feeding Ethan information about your clients, your methods, your finances. They want to destroy you completely." The bourbon burned going down, but not as much as the truth. "Good," I said, surprising myself with how steady my voice sounded. "Let's see how they like it when I screw back." I spent that night on Tessa's couch, but sleep was impossible. Instead, I reviewed everything. Old messages, financial records, security footage from my office. Being a private investigator has its advantages when your life implodes. I knew how to find secrets, how to connect dots that others missed. By dawn, I had a clearer picture. Claire had been siphoning money from our joint accounts for months, small amounts that wouldn't trigger alerts. She'd also been sharing confidential client information with Ethan, information that somehow found its way to competing law firms. My wife wasn't just cheating on me. She was systematically dismantling everything I'd built. Tessa emerged from her bedroom with coffee and a grim smile. "You look like hell." "Feel like it too." I accepted the mug gratefully. "But I've got a plan." "Should I be worried?" "Not you. Them." I pulled out my phone, scrolled to the recording I'd made the night before. Claire and Ethan's post-coital conversation was damning, not just the obvious, but their casual discussion of getting rid of Jack and splitting his client list. "Jesus," Tessa whispered after listening. "They're not even trying to hide it." "Why would they? They thought they were alone." I stood, pacing to the window. "Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to play the devastated husband, make it look like I'm leaving quietly. Meanwhile, you keep your ears open at the office, and I'm going to gather every piece of dirt on both of them. And then I'm going to bury them. I started by sending anonymous copies of the recording to the firm's managing partner, Evelyn Reeves, and to HR. Not from my phone, not from any account they could trace back to me. Then I went home, our home, while Claire was at work. The house felt different now, contaminated. I packed methodically, taking only what was mine, but I also took pictures of everything else. The expensive art Claire had bought with her bonus, the jewelry I'd never seen before, the credit card statements hidden in her desk drawer. I left a note on the kitchen counter. Enjoy the house. I left the windows open so you can air out the betrayal. Then I moved out my share of our joint accounts, every penny I was legally entitled to, and waited. I didn't have to wait long. From my car across the street, I watched a police cruiser pull up to the house just as Claire and Ethan arrived. Through the rain-streaked windshield, I could see Claire gesticulating wildly, Ethan looking increasingly pale. The police were there about a corporate espionage complaint and a domestic disturbance report. Both anonymous, both carefully worded to avoid any legal blowback on me. I allowed myself a grim smile as the officers escorted them both outside for questioning. "You wanted me gone, Claire," I murmured. "Now you'll wish I stayed." The next morning, I was the one getting a visit from the police. Detective Ray Harris was a no-nonsense cop in his 50s who looked like he'd seen every kind of human stupidity twice. "Your wife says you're stalking her," he said without preamble. "Says you're unstable, possibly dangerous." "My wife says a lot of things." I poured coffee for both of us. Most of them lately have been lies. I walked Harris through everything. The affair, the financial irregularities, the stolen client information. I showed him my evidence, all of it obtained legally. My security system had recorded Claire going through my files. Bank records showed the suspicious transfers. Email metadata proved she'd been forwarding confidential documents. "You're either the most thorough victim I've ever met," Harris said, "or the most meticulous perpetrator." "I'm a private investigator, detective. Thorough is what I do." By the time Harris left, I could tell he was having serious doubts about Claire's version of events. Good. Let her try to play the victim card when the evidence said otherwise. That afternoon, my business partner Sam Rodriguez called. "We need to talk," he said, "in person." Sam and I had built our PI firm from nothing over the past 5 years. He was the tech genius to my street smarts, the careful planner to my intuitive leaps. If anyone could help me navigate this mess, it was Sam. We met at our office, a converted warehouse space in the Arts District. Sam looked nervous, which was unusual for him. "The managing partner at Claire's firm called," he said. "Evelyn Reeves, she wants to hire us." "For what?" "Internal investigation. Someone's been leaking confidential information to competitors. She specifically asked for you." I leaned back in my chair, processing. "She knows it's my wife?" "She knows you sent the recording. She also knows you're the best investigator in the city for this kind of work." Sam paused. "There's something else. Ethan Morrison tried to have you arrested for assault." "What?" "He filed a complaint yesterday, claimed you attacked him in your house. But here's the thing. Your security system proves you never laid a hand on him. In fact, it shows him getting aggressive with you." The pieces were falling into place. Claire and Ethan weren't just panicking, they were getting sloppy. Desperate people make stupid mistakes, and I was counting on it. That evening, I was leaving the office when Ethan Morrison stepped out of the shadows in the parking garage. He looked like hell, unshaven, wrinkled suit, eyes red-rimmed with exhaustion. "You filthy snake!" he snarled. "You think you're so smart." "Smart enough to see you coming from 50 feet away." I kept my voice level, but my muscles tensed. "What do you want, Ethan?" "I want you to back off. Drop whatever game you're playing." "Game?" I laughed, but there was no humor in it. "You screwed my wife in my bed, tried to steal my business, and you think this is a game?" He lunged at me then, swinging wild punches like an amateur. Military training kicked in. I sidestepped, grabbed his wrist, and used his momentum to send him face first into a concrete pillar. He went down hard, blood streaming from his nose. "Stay down," I advised. "You're embarrassing yourself." But Ethan was beyond reason. He scrambled up, pulling a tire iron from his car. "I'll kill you, you bastard." That's when Detective Harris appeared, gun drawn. "Drop the weapon now!" Ethan froze, the tire iron halfway raised. Behind Harris, 2 uniformed officers moved into position. "He attacked me!" Ethan shouted. "This psycho attacked me!" Harris looked at the security camera mounted overhead, then at Ethan's bloody face and my unmarked knuckles. "Funny thing about parking garages," he said. "They're full of cameras, and from what I can see, you're the one holding the weapon." As they cuffed Ethan for assault with a deadly weapon, he screamed at me, "This isn't over! Claire will destroy you! She'll what?" I called back. "Tell more lies? Because that's working out so well for you." The next morning brought news that made my coffee taste like victory. Evelyn Reeves had suspended both Claire and Ethan pending a full investigation. The State Bar Association was opening its own inquiry, and thanks to Ethan's parking garage meltdown, he was facing criminal charges. But I wasn't done, not even close. Sam and I spent the day building an airtight case against Claire for corporate espionage. Bank records, email logs, client testimony, everything pointed to a systematic betrayal that went back months. When we presented our findings to Evelyn Reeves, her face went white. "How much did they steal?" she asked. "Conservative estimate? $2 million in lost billings. 3 clients jumped to Morrison's previous firm right after Claire fed them inside information." Evelyn was quiet for a long moment. Then, "I want her destroyed. Professionally, legally, completely. Can you do that?" Already in motion. That evening, Tessa called. "Claire's at my apartment. She's not doing well." "I'll be right there." I found Claire on Tessa's couch, looking nothing like the confident woman who'd ordered me out of my own house. Her hair was unwashed, her clothes wrinkled, her eyes red from crying. "Jack," she said when she saw me. "Thank God. We need to talk." "No, we don't. Please, I made a mistake, a terrible mistake, but we can fix this." I sat across from her, studying the woman I'd once loved. "Fix what exactly? The adultery? The theft? The corporate espionage? Which mistake are we fixing, Claire?" "It wasn't supposed to go this far. Ethan said a lot of things, most of them lies. Just like you." She started crying then, real tears this time. "I'm going to lose everything. My job, my license, my reputation. They're talking about criminal charges." "Good." The word hit her like a slap. "How can you say that? I'm your wife." "No," I said quietly. "You were my wife. Now you're just someone who betrayed everything we built together." Claire's tears stopped. Her face hardened into something I barely recognized. "You bastard! You orchestrated all of this." "I documented it. There's a difference." She stood suddenly, rage replacing despair. "You think you've won? You have no idea what I'm capable of?" "Actually, I do. I've seen exactly what you're capable of. That's why you're finished." That's when she lunged at me, fingernails aimed at my face. Tessa stepped between us, catching Claire's wrists. "Enough!" Tessa shouted. "Just stop!" Claire whirled on her. You helped him, didn't you? My best friend helping my husband destroy me." "I helped him find the truth," Tessa said steadily. "Something you stopped caring about a long time ago." Claire laughed, a sound like breaking glass. "The truth? You want the truth? Ask your precious Jack about Vegas. Ask him about what happened with Sam." I felt the blood drain from my face. "What are you talking about?" "Oh, you didn't tell him." Claire smiled viciously at Tessa. "Your business partner Sam had a lovely time with me in Vegas last month. Very lovely. Very thorough." The room went silent except for the sound of rain against the windows. I looked at Tessa, saw the confirmation in her eyes. "It was one night," Tessa whispered, "at the legal conference. She was drunk, crying about your marriage. Sam was trying to comfort her, and she seduced him." "And you knew?" "I suspected. But Sam told me yesterday. He's been sick about it, Jack. He wanted to tell you himself." Claire was still smiling her broken smile. So you see, darling husband, your perfect revenge isn't so perfect. Everyone betrayed you, even your best friend. I stood slowly, feeling something cold and final settle in my chest. You're right, I said. Everyone did betray me. But here's the difference. Sam feels guilty about it. You're proud of it. What's that supposed to mean? It means Sam gets a chance to make amends. You don't. I left Tessa's apartment and drove through the rain to my office, where I found Sam waiting in the dark. He looked like he hadn't slept in days. She told you, he said. It wasn't a question. Yeah. I'm sorry, Jack. I'm so goddamn sorry. She was crying, saying her marriage was over, and I was drunk and… Stop, I held up a hand. Just stop. Was it just the once? Yes, I swear to God, just that one night. And I hated myself for it the second it happened. I studied my partner's face, looking for lies, found none. Why didn't you tell me? Because I was a coward. Because I knew it would destroy our friendship, our business, everything we built. He paused. Because I knew you were already dealing with enough betrayal. I was quiet for a long moment, watching the rain streak down the windows. You're right. You were a coward. I know. But you're also my friend. And friends make mistakes. Sam looked up, hope flickering in his eyes. Does that mean… It means we'll deal with it later. Right now I have a job to finish. I opened my laptop and began typing. Every piece of evidence I'd gathered on Claire and Ethan, every financial record, every stolen document, every lie they'd told. I compiled it all into a comprehensive report and sent it to 3 places: the district attorney's office, the State Bar Association, and the city's most popular legal gossip blog. Jesus, Jack, Sam breathed, reading over my shoulder. You're ending their careers. They ended their own careers. I'm just documenting it. My phone rang. Detective Harris. Your wife and her boyfriend are on the move, he said. Looks like they're heading for your office. Thought you should know. I looked out the window at the storm raging outside. Let them come. 20 minutes later, Claire and Ethan burst through the office door, both soaked from the rain. Ethan's face was still bandaged from his encounter with the concrete pillar, and Claire looked like a woman on the edge of complete breakdown. You miserable coward, she screamed. You sent everything to the DA, to the Bar Association, to that goddamn gossip blog. Did I? I leaned back in my chair, perfectly calm. Prove it. Ethan stepped forward, his hands clenched into fists. We know it was you. Who else would have access to all that information? Anyone with half a brain and a computer. You two weren't exactly subtle. This is over, Claire said, her voice shaking with rage. I'm going to destroy you. I'm going to tell everyone what kind of man you really are. What kind is that? The kind who drives his wife into another man's arms. The kind who's so cold, so distant, that she had no choice but to find comfort elsewhere. I stood slowly, and something in my expression made both of them take a step back. You want to know what kind of man I am? I asked quietly. I'm the kind who worked 2 jobs to put you through law school. The kind who celebrated every promotion, every victory, every success you ever had. The kind who loved you completely and trusted you absolutely. I moved closer, and they retreated toward the door. But I'm also the kind who doesn't forgive betrayal. The kind who believes actions have consequences. And the kind who always finishes what he starts. The lights went out suddenly. The storm had knocked out power to the building. In the darkness, I heard Claire gasp and Ethan curse. Emergency lighting flickered on, casting everything in an eerie red glow. This is perfect, I said, my voice echoing in the empty office. Dramatic lighting for the final act. You're insane, Ethan whispered. I'm thorough. That's when Detective Harris appeared in the doorway, flanked by 2 uniformed officers. Ethan Morrison, you're under arrest for violation of your bail conditions. Claire Donovan, you're wanted for questioning regarding corporate espionage and fraud. Claire looked at me with pure hatred. This isn't over. Yes, I said as the officers cuffed her. It is. As they led her away, she turned back one last time. You said you loved me completely, but you never really knew me at all. You're right, I replied, but I know you now. The police car disappeared into the storm, taking Claire and Ethan with it. I stood in the doorway of my office, watching the rain wash the city clean. Sam appeared beside me. So what happens now? Now? I smiled for the first time in days. Now I start over. And us? The business? Our friendship? I looked at my partner, my friend, the man who'd betrayed me but had the decency to feel guilty about it. We'll figure it out, but not tonight. As I walked to my car, I thought about Claire's parting words. She was right. I hadn't really known her. The woman I'd loved had been a carefully constructed facade, hiding someone capable of breathtaking cruelty and selfishness. But I knew her now, and more importantly, she finally knew me. She'd said, "Get out of my house, I don't want you here." I'd done exactly what she asked. I'd gotten out. But I'd taken everything that mattered with me, my dignity, my business, my future, and I'd left her with nothing but the consequences of her choices. The rain was starting to ease as I drove through the empty streets. Behind me, the storm was breaking. Ahead, the sky was beginning to clear. She'd wanted me gone. I was gone, and now her whole world was empty. Mine was just beginning.